Well, welcome everyone who is joining us, and welcome to our special guests, the opening ensemble of our 2021 Emerging Artists Festival, presented digitally again this year because of the pandemic. But welcome members of Filament, Evan Pugh, Elena Smith, and John Waldhausen. Thank you so much for being here. What a wonderful performance. We're so glad to have been able to experience that in such a beautiful video, filmed in a beautiful location. So thank you all for being here, and congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So for anyone who's joining us in the YouTube live right now, you can ask questions if you want to by just simply putting them into the comments, and we will try to get to those as we can. But in the meantime, I wanted to ask you all a few questions. Number one, the location you filmed is so lovely at Gloria Dei Old Swedes in Philadelphia, and it's really interesting. I did a little research a little while ago to realize how closely that original part of the structure was built in time to when the Opus 1 of Buxtehude was actually published within less than a decade, within more like a handful of years. So is that one of the reasons why you all perform there? Is it just because you like the facility? Does that have some connection to this Opus 1?
What do you think?
Absolutely. I think both, and I think in America we're always trying to find these links to the music that we love, and it's pretty rare that we can actually find them. Most of the oldest structures in America came after the Baroque period, but this church is so special because it is from the late 17th century and was built specifically by Scandinavian immigrants. So it has this kind of closeness that we would be pretty hard pressed to find anywhere else. And kind of on top of that, it's a really gorgeous space and a really kind of touching space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for anyone who's unfamiliar, the Opus 1, if I remember correctly, was published around 1694 or 95, I think, was something around there. And the original part of the church was built right in 1700, and so we have this really close connection. So I think that's wonderful. What else is it about this Opus 1 of Buxtehude that draws you to it? These are two sonatas that you performed from the collection of 7, and you've performed others in other concerts. So what is the connection, and why do you all choose to work from those right now?
I think there's just something so touching about the music. I mean, it sort of defies description in a way, but I think it makes a lot of sense intuitively to us as an ensemble. And there's so much, the more you get into it, the more you realize how much give and take and how much interaction and conversation there is between all three voices. And it was a project that we fell into sort of naturally on our first concert, which was in September of 2019. We just happened to program two of the sonatas from Opus 1, and they really spoke to us in a way that felt right. So that's sort of the genesis of this project. We don't have concrete plans to make this recording, but it is absolutely on our agenda to tackle in the near future. So.
We actually do have a question already concerning the music itself, and they've asked, do you consider it to be written in an Italian style? And they said it reminded them of Corelli. What do you consider?
I would say that it is Italian in certain ways. I mean, there's certainly a lot of lyricism to some of the writing. And of course, the use of scales and passage work is very Italianate and very much like Corelli. I don't know. Do you have other?
I'd agree with that, but I'd say that perhaps what really draws us to this music is that it seems like Buxtehude always pushes these ideas a little bit further.
Yeah.
Perhaps an Italian would even say too far. You know, the counterpoint's just a little bit is much more developed. And the kind of rhetorical moments are just that much brusquer and that much kind of more rhetorical.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what draws us to it.
Along those lines, I think a lot of what attracts us to this music is those sort of, it's almost abrupt changes and these interjections of a kind of improvisatory, rhapsodic interludes between the more contrapuntal movements that really is quite inspiring. Sort of challenges you to go as far as you can at the moment, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for those unfamiliar with this year's Emerging Artist Showcase, this year was a little different because we knew well ahead that we were going to be that the projects were going to be put together during pandemic and lockdown for some, and so the idea was always from the beginning that it would be a digital presentation, and we were talking, the four of us, before the premiere started, about how you all chose to record with multiple cameras, but to really do it as a single take and not go back and re-edit and redo things there. Can you tell a little bit about how you came to that decision, how you thought about what you ultimately wanted the project to look like?
Yeah. Well, I think when we first started talking about how we wanted the project to look, it was the beautiful thing about Old Swedes. It has such a scenic church, and there's architecturally it's beautiful. And for those of you who watch the video, you could see there's a beautiful ship and there's angels hanging from the ceiling of the church. We really wanted to play with the scene of the church and the architecture, and it complements the music so nicely.
Yeah.
And with, in terms of taking it in one take,
It's
we wanted
the
to feel like as much of a performance, and it's much more fun for us. We get the energy from that rather than doing a million takes and perfecting to death. So
yeah, we miss playing live.
Yes, we do.
And I think we've performed a handful of times now at Old Swedes, and we've developed a bit of a relationship with the people who care for the grounds there, and they've been very welcoming and generous to us. And so, given the opportunity to make this video, we wanted to try to feature the space as much as we could, just as a tribute to the space itself, you know, to share it with, you know, others. So.
Yeah, I think the church and the location seemed like just another member of the ensemble, I might say. It seemed like it was part of what you were doing, and so that was very artfully done, and we were very impressed when we first seen it. And so those of us in EMA, several of us have gotten to watch the video and listen to the performance, and we've been enjoying it over the past several days leading up to today. So it's absolutely wonderful to be able to finally get to share it now. So speaking of sharing music, what are upcoming projects, either digital or in person or hybrid? What do you all have next?
Well, we are assembled together because we're going to rehearse in just a little bit for a brand new program that we're going to be recording next week in the, what is it?
The Arthur Ross Gallery at the University of Pennsylvania.
They have a new exhibition that's gone up about featuring 17th century Dutch interior paintings, and so they've asked us to create a program, and we're recording it in the space there next Thursday. That will go up for viewing in June, on June 17th, I believe. And the videographer who did our show for today is also recording us then, so he's become also a bit of a partner in this endeavor. So,
go ahead. And so that's in the immediate future, and we're also looking towards our third season, and we're very, very excited to introduce this weekend our grand reopener for our third season. which will be a big collaboration. We'll be joined by soprano Rebecca Myers and a team of about 10 musicians to do Bach's cantata number 210. This is sometimes called his wedding cantata, and also the Fifth Brandenburg Concerto. This will be a hybrid presentation with video and live in-person audience. If all things go well this summer, if we continue to see the progress nationwide that we've been seeing, and we're really excited for this. We have just launched a crowdfunding to help raise some money for this project, available at filament.com.
And can people find out about that at your website? I'm guessing
there's at the top there's a support menu item, and you can click on that.
Excellent. So anyone watching right now, if you want to help art be made, you can get in at the ground level right now, and we'll also, I'm going to put a link to the website in the chat there, so you all can get that and put that out. And speaking of, you're talking about this hybrid performance, and we just saw a performance that was made strictly for the digital. What do you see as we sort of re-emerge from pandemic and concerts are happening, and we've heard from several artists who are really happy that gigs are starting to get lined up again, and we're starting to do some things in some places. How do you see things like this kind of all digital projects, or those fitting into what you all will be doing with Filament going forward?
For my part, I see at least hybrid performances with in-person and some sort of video content becoming something of a norm in the near future. And I wouldn't be able to speculate if that's going to be a permanent change or how long it'll last. But I think because we have such a nice rapport with Alex, our videographer, that it wouldn't be too difficult for us to incorporate that to some degree into our projects in at least the near future. So we haven't really had concrete conversations along those lines as of yet, but it's a good question.
Yeah, and I'd also add that even though I don't think playing for the camera is any of our favorite things, I think we prefer playing for people in seats right there. This has been such a valuable tool for us. It's enabled us to connect and share with friends and family all over the country and all around the world. And this has been such an unexpected benefit.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, we want to thank you once again for a beautiful performance, a beautiful video, and just all around lovely presentation. Thank you so much for taking part, Evan Few, Elena Smith, and John Waldhausen, known together as Filament. We wish you all the best. We also want to invite anyone who's still watching right with us right now to our other two premiere events this weekend, which will be at 2 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Saturday and Sunday. You can find out more about that. I put in the link in the chat. You can find out about those performances. But tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. And we will follow that with another live Q&A with the artists from tomorrow's show, which are Beneath a Tree, Baroque to Folk, as well as Monica Rusma and Hector Alfonso Torres, and they'll be performing tomorrow afternoon. So thank you so much, Filament. We look forward to more from you, and we're really happy that you were able to participate this year in the Emerging Artists Showcase.
Thanks so much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
All right, and everyone join us. Thank you again. I'm David Wood with Early Music America, and we hope that you'll join us for our next concert tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Thank you so much.
Okay.